How Moises Caicedo will fit in at Chelsea. Today we're going to be talking about the formation, the tactics, and why Caicedo is going to free up Enzo Fernandez in the final third, and why that is a very, very good thing for Pochettino's Chelsea. This is the Premier League review. We are back again every Monday, every Tuesday. Episodes will be going out reviewing the Premier League action. So make sure you drop a little subscribe. On today's show, of course, going to be talking about Chelsea, Caicedo, my thoughts on the early Pochettino Chelsea team, which has been quite impressive. Really good performance against Liverpool. But let's dive straight into it. Caicedo in the Chelsea team is likely to anchor midfield with Fernandez in that zone. Of course, Chelsea have been without a holding midfielder for this season so far, with Conor Gallagher coming in and playing a pretty decent game from a defensive point of view against Liverpool. I think when he excelled in the match against Liverpool was on the defensive side of things, when he was winning the ball back through interceptions and ball recoveries. In fact, if you look at his statistics for the game, he had a pretty good game defensively. Just jumping into his numbers. Of course, won 2 out of his 4 tackles, 3 interceptions, made 10 ball recoveries, which was a joint most on the pitch, along with the interception statistic as well. But the issue for Conor Gallagher is I don't think he is that deep line playmaker. He's not a very safe option on the ball, and in fact lost the ball 4 times in his own half against Liverpool. But this means Chelsea did need a holding midfielder, of course, signing Caicedo for £115 million, a British record for a central midfielder. Is impressive business when you look at the player and his profile in terms of what he could bring. Gallagher was good defensively, but where I think Caicedo comes into this Chelsea team is more of that ball-playing option. I think where he really excels, not only winning the ball back through tackles and interceptions, but retaining possession. Got a great range of long and short passing, completed 93% of his short passing in the Premier League. And that, quite frankly, I mean, Enzo Fernandez can play that more freer role. But if we look at Pochettino's double pivot at Spurs, his kind of controller-destroyer pivot of Victor Wanyama and Moussa Dembele when his Spurs team were at their peak, that's exactly what Chelsea could have in Caicedo as the destroyer, and of course Enzo Fernandez as that controller, that ball carrier through the middle. And I really believe freeing Enzo Fernandez is going to see the level of the Chelsea performances go from strength to strength, ranked in the top 1% of midfielders for passes into the final third. So let's have a look at Enzo Fernandez's performance in a free role against Liverpool, where he absolutely ran the game from central midfield. So we pick up the play on 10 minutes with Enzo Fernandez in a central midfield area looking to get on the ball. I think when you're giving Enzo this free role, it doesn't exactly mean that he's always going to be in a number 10 area or a number 8 area. He will drop into number 6 to get on the ball and then drive Chelsea through. This was similar to the Moussa Dembele Wanyama combination, where they were quite flexible and fluid. And I think the brilliance of Caicedo coming in is he also can play both roles. Excels as a box-to-box midfielder, also excels as that deep lying number 6. So let's roll the play through. Enzo Fernandez searching for a little pocket of space to pick up the ball. Chelsea retain possession really well with their centre halves. I think Liverpool have got a real issue when playing against the back 3. I don't think their pressing structure is as good versus them playing a back 4. So of course Enzo roaming, looking to pick up an area of space. I think one of his really good traits is finding these positions in between the opponent's lines. We can see Liverpool's front 3 with Diaz as that centre point in this phase of the game. Of course, Jota played a lot of the game in that false 9 position, but this is just where Diaz is in there. The way these rotated between Liverpool's midfield lines, creating that little area. From this position, of course, he can play the simple pass out wide, but Gakpo is kind of, aiming his body to make that interception. So instead of playing the simple pass, a brilliant little reverse into the feet of Sterling to get into the final third. But then when we talk about this freer role, it's that ability to break from midfield, knowing that his midfield partner's going to sit. I did think Conor Gallagher did this sitting role reasonably well from a defensive perspective, as we spoke before, and a positional perspective, but allowing Enzo to get up is going to get the best out of the Argentine playmaker. It's going to allow him to get into the final third. I think that assist that he got for Joao Felix last season, that brilliant cross from a deep area, that's things that you want to replicate with someone of Enzo's quality. Some attacking moving into that midfield area and running off McAllister. Liverpool seriously need a defensive midfielder. They'd agreed a fee for Caicedo, but of course he decided that he wanted to go to Chelsea instead. You can see how McAllister isn't that kind of classic defensive midfielder. Enzo just runs off his back, Sterling finds him with a brilliant pass in behind the defence. And from this moment, of course, Enzo goes for the shot on goal. Really good block from Konate. But you can see Chelsea have got 3 players versus 1 in the box. If Enzo gets his head up from this situation, he can slide one of those guys in. But allowing him to have that freedom to break from a deeper position in midfield is only going to be elevated with sitting next to someone like Caicedo. We've got another example of his kind of brilliance in midfield again, this time more movement off the ball. Chelsea winning the ball back through Disasi, instant ball into the feet of Sterling. Nice little turn, but you can see Enzo's going to be drifting into the attack. He's waiting, he's just acting, a little bit behind, supporting it being a ball option into feet. But I think when you're looking at these moments and you've got a player of Enzo's quality from a passing perspective, because he's given this freedom, you've always got the opportunity for him to drive through his midfield area and find a pass. This, in fact, is the moment that leads to that Ben Chilwell offside goal. But a really good sort of support play from Enzo, nice little carry, brilliant vision, and that's where you want to get him. You want to actually get him higher up the pitch. I think he is fantastic in a deeper position, but he does more damage in the final third. Now, if you look at the heat map against Liverpool, you can really see that freedom in the final third. A deep red in the opponent's half in the inside right channel. Playing next to Caicedo, you're just going to see more of that. In terms of his statistics in the game, 119 touches of the ball, 85 passes completed, 10 out of his 11 long balls completed, 7 crosses, 2 out of 2 of his dribbles completed, 5 out of his 9 duels won. This is the Enzo Chelsea want. This is the Enzo that Pochettino wants. And the way that they're going to get the best out of that, the best out of him in this area, is having someone like Caicedo that's going to sit in this defensive midfield position. I think one of the other interesting things with Chelsea's system is we kind of saw a little bit of a midfield diamond in there. When Fernandez moved forward, we saw a little bit of this kind of like diamond shape. Again, great for passing networks and progressing the play that Chelsea created against Liverpool. Caicedo will sit at the back of that, and he will be the one that can dictate the play. And I think when we look at his kind of, style and his numbers, he is this kind of all-action midfielder that can do it all. Got great technique, in terms of his ability to ping those switches, and I think that's going to become a massive part of Chelsea's play. Ben Chilwell and Reece James were absolutely fantastic against Liverpool. They created this overload on the Liverpool backline, and they didn't know what to do with it. With both players playing in relatively high positions, there was kind of a real problem with them dealing with the threat. So as soon as the ball was worked out to one wing, there was always kind of the Liverpool defence coming over, and then there'd be space for Ben Chilwell usually to attack that back stick. Having someone like Caicedo at the base that is renowned for these really, really good switches of play, hit with great technique but also pace, it's going to allow Chelsea to sustain attacks but also move the point of attack really fast. Caicedo also excels at reading the game. When his team has lost the ball, he's an absolute master at reading passes and intercepting. In terms of the statistics last season, only Declan Rice in the Premier League made more interceptions than Caicedo. Again, a good part of his game. Fantastic in the tackle as well. Second in the league for tackles plus interceptions. He won 58% of his challenges versus dribblers. So when there is counter-attacking situations, having someone like Caicedo there that's great and strong in the 1v1 situation, it's going to be an advantage. And then the other thing with Caicedo is mobility to really get out there and cover a big area of the pitch. It's only going to help Chelsea in that defensive transition. I think he's just the perfect midfielder for them. Great stamina, work rate, quick, athletic. He's got everything that you want in a modern day player. Can also carry through. Again, we see this kind of being a bit bigger theme in the modern game. Midfielders driving through that first line of pressure and then playing the pass. Given that Caicedo's been at Brighton with both De Zerbi and Graham Potter, 2 really good managers for him to work under to know. But I do think he can be used in a variety of formations and systems. This is more of a back 3 system for Chelsea, but equally if Chelsea wanted to throw extra attackers onto the pitch, let's say they want to go with a more traditional back 4 with Reece James as a fullback and Chilwell as the other fullback, and throwing someone like Mudryk into an attacking area. Having someone like Caicedo in the 4-2-3-1, again, similar double pivot with Enzo playing more of the roaming controller. Caicedo sitting, holding the play could work well. Also, the diamond is an option for Chelsea. Shifting an extra midfielder in there, let's say, playing with a diamond. Sterling maybe as one of the forwards, holding up, holding the base of the diamond again is another good option for him, utilising that ability to play short but also play the long switches. allowing Reece James and Ben Chilwell to get into the final third. I think an absolute fantastic signing for Chelsea that will really help them grow and evolve under Mauricio Pochettino. And I think the start of Mauricio Pochettino's reign, I think we're seeing some good things in terms of how they build, but also the tactical nous of Mauricio Pochettino that I don't think he gets enough credit for, and having a weapon of Caicedo's quality that can play multiple roles in midfield. We mentioned him playing holding midfield, but he could also do a job as more of a box-to-box midfielder outside of the diamond. I remember a really good game he played against Manchester United at the start of last season when Brighton took a surprise 3 points away from Old Trafford. Had a really good game ball carrying from the left-sided central midfield role of their diamond. But in terms of the overall play, in terms of what we've seen from Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea so far, I think the composure's been really good. I think the build-up with the three centre-halves has been nice and composed, but also utilising a tactical advantage. And that is where Pochettino, where his stock is really high, it's that tactical advantage. So let's just take a look at a few clips from the game against Liverpool and where Chelsea really utilised an overload on the right-hand side of the pitch. Just in terms of the midfield makeup at the moment, Enzo's just top of the shot, sitting in a right fullback position. Conor Gallagher at defensive midfield, just operating as this number 6. Chelsea utilised a bit of a bounce pass off Conor Gallagher to pull the Liverpool press over. One of the big things of Liverpool is what you want to do. You want to build on one side. So you want to build on the left, you want to attack down the right, and then you want to finish the move on the left-hand side. You're basically pulling their block over that's super narrow, using the width. Wing-backs naturally get that advantage against Liverpool. So a little bit of a, play inside. Levi Colwill receiving the ball again, carrying through the middle. We can clearly see this sort of narrow block from Liverpool now, the 4-3-3. Not enough pressure on the ball. Diogo Jota, we mentioned before, the press that they set on Conor Gallagher was sitting on him. But you've got to put pressure on the ball, playing a high line like that, because it's just going to cause you massive problems. But let's move back onto the positives of Pochettino's Chelsea. Levi Colwill giving a bit of width to the attack. Liverpool not really blocking those passing lanes. The issue for Liverpool right now is this man, Sterling, in an inside right position. Virgil van Dijk can't go to him because Jackson's on his his blind side. Robertson has to go and engage the wing back when the ball's switched out there, and McAllister's got to cover a bit of a central position. So this position from Sterling is really, really good. I thought Sterling had a fantastic game against Liverpool. Didn't score, didn't get an assist, but I liked his play and how he moved the ball on when he received it. So let's move into the final third. Reece James pulling wide. Liverpool have got a massive problem now. Who's going to go out and close Reece James? Who's going to cover Sterling? A little bit of a ball inside. Easy 1-2 to get behind Andy Robertson, who had a very, very poor game. And then a low cross into the box. What I like about Chelsea is they're loading the box with players. The opposite wing-back, Ben Chilwell, is in the box. You've got Chukwuemeka, and of course Jackson attacking, creating that kind of 3v2 in the penalty area. Jackson meeting the ball near post, good save from Alisson. But really good combination play, simple. Levi Colwill carrying out, playing the ball out, dropping it back inside, little 1-2 in the final third. And you're on the back line with a low cross. We've got another example of that. Again, Enzo Fernandez controlling things in central midfield, receiving off Thiago in that area. We'll see him drift into this right half space quite a lot, considering that Reece James will vacate it and move into a high area because you want Reece James to do the damage in the final third. But Enzo receiving in that zone, dropping a pass out to Reece James, again using Sterling in that combination role, with Robertson being super aggressive. Simple 1-2 again to bypass the fullback, and 3v2 in the penalty area once again, this time Jackson firing over the bar. But really good signs from Chelsea. The fluidity of this shape looking good, and we'll expect to see Mauricio Pochettino use a number of different shapes and formations for Chelsea. But I think at the moment this kind of hybrid 3-4-2-1, or maybe even you could describe it as a two banks of four, considering Ben Chilwell's high position, I thought was fantastic against Liverpool, especially his movement off the ball, grabbed himself an assist, created one big chance, one shot, of course, had the goal that was ruled out because of VAR, but I thought that impact in the final third was big from Chilwell. Similar to Reece James, absolutely fantastic. Went off because he was tired, which I think is good management from Mauricio Pochettino. Created 2 chances, both big chances, a shot on goal as well. Completed 100% of his dribbles, but the involvement in the final third, absolutely fantastic. If Mauricio Pochettino can build off Ben Chilwell, Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo in midfield, and of course Reece James, they have got probably one of the best, defensive midfield lines in the country. I'm excited to see what Caicedo does at Chelsea. I think it's a really good signing. It is expensive, don't get me wrong, but Chelsea have got the guy that they needed to get in central midfield to really hold, to control, to allow Fernandez to play the free role. But anyway, guys, I've been Statman Dave. Make sure to subscribe. If you are new, the Premier League review is back. That's a reason to smash that subscribe button. Like the video, get in the comments below. Do you think Chelsea will sign any more players in this window? See you later.